Tonight, residents in North Sioux City, South Dakota could attend a public meeting to learn a lot more about a project almost 3 years in the making. The Northshore Bypass project first started in 2022 when North Sioux got a $17 million grant and a sponsorship from U.S. Senator Mike Rounds. The goal of the project was to create an alternate route for traffic traveling from west of McCook Lake so they don't have to travel along North Shore Drive. At tonight's public meeting, representatives from South Dakota DOT and Stockwell Engineering walked through the project and answered any questions that people had. They shared different route ideas that project leaders have put together. The first alternative route would go from the entrance of North Shore Drive up along the north side of Dakota Valley Schools. The second alternative route would take the same route just 50 feet north of the first alternative route. Officials also have a third alternative route that would widen North Shore Drive. Project leaders felt that wouldn't accomplish the goal of the project. From there, they factored in the impact that each route would have with the environment, like the amount of land used, the travel time, construction costs, the impact on water and air quality, even noise. Project leaders say they prefer the first alternative route, which would cost less, offer faster travel time, and have a lower impact on farmland and wetlands.
I always thought they were going to do something with the roads, but that's not what it's about. It's mainly about the bypass behind the school. And that is a good thing. It really is. They should have been 40 years ago. I mean, it's something that kept postponing, but they should have done it a long time ago.
If any North Sioux City residents missed the meeting tonight but still have questions about the project, they can reach out to the project managers and submit any comments through the project's website. For that information, just look inside this story at ktiv.com.